Hello. Firstly, thank you so much to everyone who's watched the van tour video over at Nate's channel, and thank you so much to all my new subscribers. So I wanted to make a video commenting on some of the questions that I got in the comment section of the van tour video. But before I dive into your questions, and I promise I will answer most of them by the end of this video, I just thought it was worth considering a few things of why my design ended up being what it is. Firstly, the beauty of building and designing your own van is that you can customize it completely after your own needs and wants. Secondly, the good and the bad thing about building your own van is that A, you're limited by space, and B, budget. That, or you're going to have to get a massive bus and a massive budget. So when I designed this van, I wrote a list of all the things that I wanted and needed from this van. I tried to prioritize them. The first thing that you need to ask yourself is, what am I going to be using this van for and what do I need from it? I think one of the most important factors in designing it was that I still need to use this van as a van. As you know, I'm an artist and I sell my art at markets and fairs in London and sometimes other places, and I needed plenty of space for storing and transporting stock and goods. If that wasn't such a high priority for me and I was going to have it as a proper full-timing van, this van would look a bit different. Just as a camper van, at least at the moment, and I hope this changes, I'm using it mainly for shorter trips, maybe 4 to 10 days. Sometimes I use it for a good few weeks at a time, but it's rarely longer than that. And as I do gain more financial freedom, I do want to be using it for longer periods of time, completely off-grid. But I also reckon that if I just have a good base van with lots of space in it, there would also be options to customize it further down the road. So here's the list that was most important to me. Number 1, having lots of space for the reasons that I just told you. Number 2, having a full-size bed. Number 3, having a shower. Number 4, I really wanted a decent area to sit down in and do work in, both admin work and artwork, like a little office/studio space. Number 5, ideally have a heater that didn't require any electricity. Number 6, bigger batteries and solar panels than my old van. Number 7, I could have done without it, but I really wanted an oven. So obviously whatever appliances that you want in a van takes up space, and it often takes up space in ways that you might not think. So for example, if you want a shower, you're going to have a bigger water tank and a bigger wastewater tank. Those are maybe not things that you can see taking up space with when you look in the van first thing, but really those are really important to get right when you're designing it, and they do dictate a lot of how the floor plan ends up being. There's also other things to consider, which is, for example, that my heater requires both a large hole in the floor and a room for a flue on the roof. So there's a lot of juggling of space that needs to happen in order for everything to fit in and still leave enough space for plenty of loading room. So that was the main puzzle for me. How do I manage to fit this in and still have plenty of room to use the van as a van and to have a decent office area? So question number 1, where is your loo? Short answer, I don't have one. I did spend quite a lot of time researching loos and trying to make floor plans that included a loo. However, I ended up opting to not have one. The main reason for this is simply space, because it would have required my shower to be a lot bigger, and I just couldn't figure out a plan that accommodated this in a really good way. Secondly, in all the times I've actually used, for example, my old van, I never felt like a huge need to have one. Even when I went to Wales for a good few weeks, I still managed to find public toilets. When I need to pee in the night, I usually use a pee bottle, and that works really well for me. I also did a lot of research on the kind of loos that I wanted, and I ended up wanting a compostable toilet, and my conclusion was basically that the basic design for compostable toilet is that you have one section for the solids and one section for the liquids, and I didn't see that being basically different from having a pee bottle and a bucket. And I also was a little bit resentful in having to spend, I don't know, £300-500 on something that was as simple as that. I also figured that if I do really need one, there is room enough to make it work. For example, I'm pretty sure that I can find a small cassette toilet that I can fit in the shower area, at least for storage, if I really wanted to. I personally don't want a cassette toilet, but if I really need to, there is options to make that work. Question number 2, do you have a fridge? Short answer, no, I don't have a fridge. I do, however, have a cool box that I use for trips. And it's really easy, I just slide it in at the back. Again, I didn't want to build an extra structure that would hinder the loading space. and I figured that it's easy enough to just take it in and out of the van and store it somewhere else when I don't need to use it. I also figured that in this seating area there is possibilities of fitting and building a small cupboard for a very small fridge if I really did want and need it, which I might very well opt into if I am going away for several months at a time. Question number 3, can you access the cab from the back of the van? Short answer, no you can't. Again, I tried several designs trying to make this happen. I did have this in my old van. I could just not find a good way of doing it. I didn't want to take out a seat. I wanted it to be able to still carry 3 people. If you wanted to have a full accessible door from the back to the front, you would have to put it fairly in the middle to get that gap in between the driver's seat and the passenger seats. And I just couldn't get that to fit with having a shower in it as well. Now, I do have an option to customize this. When I did make that dividing wall, there is room to make a hatch in it, and currently I just got it covered up with a panel. But it's really easy to just remove that panel, put hinges on it, and then boom, you have a hatch. I just haven't gotten around to doing it. Question, or rather comment number 4, the colours. Some people commented that it's quite a dark design. Again, when you build your own van, you can customize it completely to your taste. Personally, I find these colours to be really calming, and I really like being inside the van. There's also a question of like putting in more windows, and yes, maybe sometimes I wish that, but to be honest with you, I feel more exposed the more windows I have. There's also more heat leaking through the windows for colder days. I've also heard sometimes weird things like, oh, you're an artist and I'm so disappointed that your van isn't colourful. Personally, my van is not colourful because I am an artist. I get so visually stimulated looking at bright things and things with lots of visual information in it. The places that I go to hang out, I want them to be calm and I want to feel relaxed in them. So this is kind of like my little den where I go to relax and chill out. Comment/question number 5. You always get those you should have done this questions. So you should have built your bed of aluminium. I don't know, maybe I should have, maybe I shouldn't. Thing is, I just, for my bed, that was the only thing that I really went to a professional and just gave the decision to them. I told them what my budget was and what I needed from it, and they recommended that I build it out of steel, so that's what I ended up doing. Question/comment number 6. I'm interested to see how the brackets/screws that you used to build the basic aluminium frames with holes up. It's been about a year since I built the basic aluminium structure, and so far I've not had a single issue with a single screw coming loose. I used self-drilling and self-tapping screws, and for all the areas that I knew that I would never access again, I also glued together. I've also put glue in when I screwed in the screws, so it all should be pretty solid. There's plenty of areas to regularly check this, and again, I've not had an issue with it.
Question number 7. There was a few comments about people being a little bit confused about where the side door is, what's the back and what's the front. So I thought I'd just give you a quick walkthrough from the back to the front and hope that clarifies some questions.
So I think that covers most of the questions, and I hope it clarifies a few things for you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. So my dream is to be able to go more on the road, make more art and more awesome content for you guys. So if you like my art and content, please consider having a look at my Patreon page. Patreon is the main way that I'm able to make money without having to be somewhere in person and selling my artwork physically. I can be on the road and be doing work at the same time, and I'm not tied to London. There's different levels of subscription, with the lowest one just starting for $2.50 a month. This includes regular giveaways and exclusive content. I'm currently working on some tutorials, so if you want to learn how to paint realistic birds just in the way that I do, I'm going to be revealing all my secrets in my Patreon tutorials. And if you want to see more of my artwork, I try and put up vlogs at least once a month, but the main place to do that is my Instagram account, which I've put a link to down below in the description, as well as my website. Thank you so much for watching, and leave a comment if you enjoyed it.